You don't scale with more hustle, you scale with better infrastructure. And most agents don't need another idea. They need a better infrastructure. They need better systems. And today I am joined with Brett Sikora, a real estate entrepreneur who's been building a platform designed to help agents scale with clarity, with leverage, and with real systems. And he is why they are the number one team in their brokerage out of over 80,000 agents, because Brett isn't just focused on scaling production, he's focused on building an enterprise. And in this conversation, we're talking about what it takes to raise your leadership as your business continues to grow, and how to develop leaders inside of your organization, and how to stay focused on what truly matters when you're playing bigger at this level. If you're an agent or a founder or a team leader who knows you were meant to build more than just a sales business, this episode is for you, and let's dive right into it. How do entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and experts like you scale a massive business all while having fun and impacting lives? Welcome to the Play Bigger podcast. I'm your host, Raquel Quinnett, business coach, real estate entrepreneur, investor, wife, and sports mom. This podcast will give you real quick tips, strategies, tools, and inspire you to play bigger in business and in life. Are you ready? Let's grow to the next level. Welcome to the Play Bigger podcast. This show is for entrepreneurs who want to play bigger in business and in life. And today I have a very special guest. I'm excited to have the founder and CEO of Align Real Estate Solutions, one of the most top performing teams in our industry. And, you know, there's a lot of agents that say they want to build something big, but very few are actually willing to build something this big, not just a team, not just more transactions, but a true enterprise. And today's guest isn't just someone who's just building production and scaling production. He's actually building a platform, thinking long-term, and openly talking about building a billion-dollar company. So welcome to the show, Brett Sikora.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm super excited. It's been a long journey you and I have had over the years.
It has definitely been a long journey, and I want everyone to know your story. I want everyone to know who you are. And so I love how, number one, ever since I met you, you've always thought big, right? And now you're thinking $1 billion in volume, you're thinking 100 million in your company. So when did you start thinking like that, or has that always been part of your story?
It has always been part of my story back in the day. So I'll rewind. I had I was a kid that in the 90s, I had the yellow Lamborghini Diablo poster above my bed. And I was just saying to my mom, dead serious, I'm going to get a yellow Lamborghini one day. And it's funny how the world then has a tendency to pull you away from what your dreams and goals really are. And you just get the shit kicked out of you. So I opened a landscaping company in 2004. Sold it in 2007 because I just didn't enjoy the margins or just that business in general. So I got out of that and got into real estate to start investing in real estate at 21 years old, 2007. Market changed, got the shit kicked out of me again. Lost a lot of my savings, had a ton of credit card debt, bad, low credit score, that sort of thing. Dug myself out of that hole. 2012, I want to say, in Hoboken. I know I'm going kind of fast, but got this shit kicked out of me again when Hurricane Sandy came and flooded all of our offices and everything. So there was no real estate to be done for 6 months or so then. And there were just a lot of ups and downs where I really fell into the rat race of what this world and emotions and everything really sticks you into. And it wasn't until 2015, which is right around when you and I kind of started talking. I want to say we want to start talking 16 or 17.
16. Mm-hmm.
But I worked with Matthew Ferry one-on-one at the time, who's Tom Ferry's brother, who's more around life coaching and just getting you back to that really anything's possible. You're playing a video game and creating rules and boundaries that don't exist. And I used that to start really, creating accelerant in regard to where I wanted to go with this business. So, obviously a lot has changed since then. My vision's certainly grown. What's possible has certainly grown. The things that we talk about are different than what a traditional real estate team leader would be thinking about, you know?
Yeah.
So we're just playing a different game.
So I'm
But,
sure a lot
yeah.
of people are listening to this and go like, Brett, how did you go from top producer to team leader to even like thinking at this level vision?
I would say,
And when is
I-
enough
there's a-
enough? I'm sure you've gotten that, right? When is enough enough?
no. I mean, whenever you're scaling any business, you can stay where you're at, pull back, be wildly profitable, and everything's completely fine there as well. I would say enough for me. Enough is enough when we're at the top, and we're not at the top. Mm-hmm. We're up there. We're way above a lot of folks, but we haven't beat the game of life in our industry yet. And I think that for me, I specifically love living in the world of real estate brokerage. It feels like a video game. Like it's pretty crazy how this video game that we're playing just involves loving on the folks around you, the real estate agents around you, trying to do what's best for them all the time, and then having them do what's best for their clients all the time too. And it's like, it's a strange thing that if you lead with that, business continuously builds. Yeah. Yet so many people don't lead with that. So that's our competition is like, yeah, don't be, don't be a bad person, and surprisingly you'll do better. One
of the things that you guys do is you guys have this platform that really takes any agent to become a top producer, then to an operator, then to a leader, then to a true business owner, which most people just go, I want to join the team to just do a lot of transactions. But you guys have like all these different verticals and pathways. Like, so how, like for the agents that are listening right now, it's like, how do you help that agent that is starting to have that big of an opportunity inside of your organization?
Yeah, so, and that's exactly right. So look, everything that I've created in dealing with the real estate agent, team leader, the brokerage side of things that we're doing is because there was a gap in what I needed as I was going on. So we really create a line is what I was always seeking. And I really wish somebody else had just built it for us, because it's a lot easier for me to just plug in and be a badass salesperson. But it wasn't there. So we had to keep building it and building it and building it. And we're always fine tuning it. But one of my favorite things when I'm talking about, or talking to recruits, for instance, is, okay, if you're a brand new agent and you're considering other brokerages, other team leaders, other broker managers, whatever it may be, I want you to ask them specifically, how many homegrown people have you turned into $100,000+ producers? Not like another brokerage and they joined you at $32,000 a year. Taking from zero up over $100,000. How many have you done that? I have a spreadsheet that shows exactly how many we've done that, how many are pending their first transaction within the first 60 days. So it still is like there's a lot of systems, platform, process, connectivity behind the scenes. But the reality is strong coaching with something as simple as a spreadsheet can make people move to where they need to go in less time. And that's really like our goal with that. Now, taking from there, I know people that are good at launching agents, and then once the agent makes $100,000 a year, they don't know how to show them how to get to $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000.
So true.
So we broke that out too, and same thing. It's like, how do we make these $12 million producers do $24 million? How do we they literally double their business in 12 months? And again, I can show data that there's these folks doing it. I tell people too, I'm like, I don't even want to set you up with somebody. Just go on Zillow, Realtor.com, look at people that are on my team, just randomly call them and ask about their experience. You can call any single person, and I'm not worried about what's going to come out of their mouth, because it truly is different within this platform.
Right.
So that's when like the evolution of the team came along too, where it's like, all right, now we need to build bigger and better so that folks can then create their own teams within our world. And then people are like, well, how would a team work within a team, and what would that even look like? And when we look at the books of like an $80 or $100 million or $200 million team, a lot of them are running on a very slim margin. A lot of them are very dependent of their own production to actually support a team that isn't generating an ROI, but they don't necessarily know why they're doing it. But if you just got rid of the team, you'd probably live a better life. So we're more so of that solution where it's like, hey, we'll help you turn this into a business. We'll help you turn this into profit on your team. Your agents will sell more homes, so they'll be happier as well. They'll profit on their own business more. We'll get rid of a lot of the headaches of hiring, firing within the staffing component from a marketing standpoint, the connectivity of the tech stack. Like there's so much, even in this, I haven't spoken that much about that, but you know my folks behind the scenes. There's
bananas.
There's some next level smart people that make things like way smarter than me, that make things talk and connect together and whatnot. So, that's really how this thing came about. It was like, what did I need to get to where I wanted to go? And the journey changed throughout the years of like what my specific role was within it. Yeah. So, it was tough at times, but there were years, 2022, 23, 24, I was way more ops heavy. I was working very close with Jen Schiff, with our COO.
Yeah.
And then we were able to break off, and I got back into like growth, loving on agents, recruiting folks, doing all that stuff. So coaching them one-on-one like that. And that's really like what makes my heart sing. But we are that business in a box for broker owners, team leaders, everything you would need from a $10 million producer want to get to $30 million. We're everything for a new agent to launch. And the way that I've always looked at that is, if somebody's a good realtor, they're a good salesperson. And then if they want to start a team and they go to $40 million, $80 million a year in production, they're a good small business owner. And when they want to start really scaling and looking at, like we mentioned earlier, like revenue as opposed to volume, profitability, margins, cost of sale, per agent transaction count, like the stuff that is more businessy, that's when it becomes more corporate. And for us, it's to take those teams, regardless of size. I mean, there could even be a team larger than ours that I feel like we could still add value to create more of a corporate structure and reporting around their data and their agents, so that they're not just running at this blind.
See, what I love about, and I interview so many different people, and I have over the years, is what I love about Align and Brett's model and what he's saying is that he has true visibility to data. Some people just grow just to grow for the sake of headcount. But when you peel back and peek under the hood, you can see profitability really stinks. And they think the answer is always just go add more agents. While there's some truth to that, don't get me wrong, but you could probably fix product production within training, within just seeing the right data within your company to actually find the needle movers. That's what I love about what you just said, is that you can take any type of company, whether and any team size, and plug them into your model. And what they'll probably see, what most entrepreneurs or real estate entrepreneurs don't see, is the visibility in their own data. I don't know a lot of people that have as much visibility as you guys do in your data.
And that allows us to be, and again, our whole system's custom built on a data standpoint.
Yeah.
So we tweak it to build whatever we want. And I was on the phone with Juliana this morning. Actually, this is how cool, we have cool people. So with Juliana, I just left her a 2-minute voicemail. I was like, Juliana, I want to see this in reporting. And then she texts back, clear. I'll let you know if I have any questions. And I'm going to have reports on it tomorrow, because she's just so awesome at what she does.
Very talented.
But for us, right now where I'm really geeking out is year over year data. So it's how do the agents know year over year, last year you were here, this year you're here, or last year you're here, this year you're here, great. But how do we keep it running like that? So year over year is something that I'm really geeking out on right now for our leaders, for our agents individually, and for myself.
Where do you think most teams, knowing what you know today, and obviously you're in lots of recruiting appointments, you're in connection with a lot of different teams, where do you think they hit the ceiling in their business, and why?
I hate to say it, but it's making the tough decisions. A lot of times with staffing, leadership, coaching, the folks that are within your world. Bill Pipes used to tell me when I coached with him, who got you here won't get you there. Mm-hmm. And that too is another thing that we say, look, business isn't always fun, and there's a lot of difficult decisions that have to happen. In our world, when you operate as a team leader, I make those decisions, the hard ones, we get NPS surveys around a listing or transaction manager that's not running appropriately, a recruiter that's fumbling things that they come through, photographer that's messing things up. So we report these things back to us, and then we get these things reported back to us, and then from there we go make decisions and make corrections based on that. What kills other businesses that are smaller is that they don't run with that corporate model, and Mama Bear in the office actually might not be the best thing for those 8 agents that need Mama Bear to be the best transaction manager out there. But they may have been there for the last 12 years, and everybody has a soft spot for the person that's truly not the best person for the job of what's required to be done. So what we pride ourselves in is, really making sure that the folks that are around us, truly are the best people for that. And that's something you and I have connected on. Like, we have some really kick-ass, they're strong personalities too. Oh, yeah. But like, that causes me to be better than I need to, had to be in the past. It causes, it just makes everything level up when you surround yourself with badasses. So that too is like what I would mention. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Because I was going to ask you, because you said you had to raise your leadership, right? So as your company starts to grow and you start to bring in even more talent, because talent attracts talent, is what have you personally had to work with to raise your level of leadership or even capacity as your company starts to get bigger?
Yeah. So, one thing that I always focused on back in the day, I was a big recruiter at Keller Williams, and I wasn't a big agent at Keller Williams. But people always ask, how do you recruit so many people? And I would say that I try to be the best version of myself every single day. I try to be better. And I think that's attractive to folks to want to be around from what I've seen so far. And when I look at an agent that is paying us a certain split, that's producing at a super high level, and there's money coming into the organization because that person's giving a slice of the pie, that forces me and us as an organization to say, is there an exchange of value here that's worth more than what this person could go get on their own? And when you start to think of that versus just treating people as passive income, which I think a lot of team leaders, they'll say, oh, I never hear from that person, they're good. I'm like, right. No, you've never even sat down with them in the last 3 years to go do a business plan, and you're focused on those other agents that aren't selling any homes, while your OGs are over here saying, why does he keep bringing people on? Because I'm not getting any attention now, and that's not why I joined this. So that's a version of needing to level up. I have people that are, I just said it earlier on this, I'll go speak with a team that is of larger size than us right now, and we're pretty darn big, and still try to figure out how can I create a value exchange within that, to see if there's a relationship there where I can make them better, they can make me better, and we both win at the end of it. Yeah. Those things, if you took a $20 million producer and said, hey, you should go try to recruit a $100 million team to your $20 million team, a lot of people then sit in that and say, why the heck would anybody ever do that? Right. But it's because they're not thinking about what their superpower is at that $20 million and being able to merge in, again, strong personality. So it's the simplicity of how it would force you to level up.
Just to give people context, how big is your team right now, and what are you guys on track as far as volumes and units to do?
So we did about $645 million last year, and it was about 1,500 units, which is cool because there was a lot of growth in that. And then this year we're pushing to go up over $1 billion. 1.1 is my real goal.
But the visionary always has to be a little bit higher than everybody else.
I gotta push it. Yeah, it's funny. Mike Ferry told me back in the day, he's like, I've never actually hit a goal because I just keep moving it as I get closer to it. So Jen and I joke, Jen's our COO, Raquel knows her very well, but Jen and I joke about, let's get to June 30th, let's get through Q2, and then we can readjust there. So if I'm at 500 by Q2, the end of Q2, I'm allowed to move the needle. So
end of Q2, end of June 30th, we'll see what the new goal is. So what skills matter at this level that no one really talks about?
I think empathy. I always go to empathy. I think that empathy and having understanding of people's journeys and the feelings and the experiences that they're actually having in that situation versus trying to steamroll the reality of the feeling. I think that is something that has gone a really long way for me. I think that integrity is probably, like, that's my number one core value.
Yeah.
You know, doing what you say you're going to do and following through with it.
Yeah.
We always say that, you know, like Jen, for instance, our COO, if somebody has a negative feeling around her, it's because they committed to doing something and tried to get a result, and then, you know, didn't do what they said they were going to do. And it's like a lack of integrity creates like anxiety. It creates, you know, feelings within themselves, and then that's, you know, I'm big on like let's make those feelings go away. Let's realign. Let's get this whole thing. Even when an agent says, yeah, but that's how that came about. I mean, I saw somebody wearing a shirt that said "grind" and it had a slash through it, and underneath it said "align," and I was like, yeah, that's what I want. Cool. I want to not grind, align, flow. Yeah. Get everything humming. You know.
Well, you've been at this for several years, right? We got to hear your journey. Like, what has been hard for you to kind of let go as you continue to scale up?
Yeah, I mean, I like having everybody like me. That's like it's an enjoyable piece of life for me. I would have never guessed that, actually. Yeah, so it's real.
There's some people you can tell right off the back with visionaries, but I was like, I would have never thought Brett would say that.
No, got you. I truly do. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I truly do feel things like even when my clients, if something gets screwed up in a deal, I'm like, I like wear it. I'm like, ugh. Yeah. So I just really like care about everybody's experience, and if I personally create a negative one for somebody, again, like having to let somebody go or something, like things that are decisions that I unfortunately need to make sometimes. That's like my week. That's one of my kryptonite, I would say. Okay. But as a leader, you go through it and you're like, cool, let's rock. Let's move through this. So.
Well, speaking of leaders, you have several leaders in your organization. How does somebody continue to attract leaders, right, into your organization, and how do you continue to either homegrown and level up your own leaders when you start to take on different roles as your company starts to scale, right? Like probably who started with you at the Brett Sikora group, I'm sure some of the OGs is what they would say, right? Yeah. They saw you a totally different way than who you are running multiple companies today. So how do you, and you say you wear your heart on your sleeve, like how do you continue to bring them along to this next vision, to this big vision, and continue to attract leaders and level them up?
Yeah, so the 2026, and my 2026 word is joy, but the organization's 2026 word is clarity. And I know, again, based on my own journey through these levels, that when you go fast, when you're a startup, which is essentially what we are, or any fast-growing business, period, you're kind of winging it through certain scenarios, and you start to lack, you're just going, you're just busy, like you're just rocking. So we purposely, I don't even want to say we slowed down. I guess we kind of slowed down. You've been in the meetings with me sometimes where I'm like sitting on my hands. But we slowed down to create more clarity for leaders, to then lead leaders, to then lead leaders, and then to figure out who within the organization wants to be a leader. So then what is that process? What's that journey? From that brand new agent coming in that then, like Jackie Boca yesterday said, hey, I want to be a mentor. And I'm like, I think you'd be a great mentor. Cool, let's rock. So just having that clear path in regard to that, with a true structure of meetings and reporting, and making sure that the reporting's being brought up from the folks underneath them into that meeting, and then into that meeting, and then into that meeting, so that we can look at an organization as it scales and say, cool, this bottom layer's all humming, this layer's humming, this layer's humming. And that's why I'm able to say that, you know, at 650 million in sales or $1 billion in sales, we can go look at a $2 billion organization that maybe they have some atrophy, for instance, and we can bring a corporate structure into that, and consulting and alignment and everything, so that it starts to boom, 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 boom. Because there really are a lot of organizations that I have seen that do this, and it hasn't happened to me yet, knock on wood, and I don't think it will happen.
Right? They don't always decline, they flatten out and they stop growing.
Right.
They were used to an old vision.
Yeah. So there's just the leaders that develop new leaders and that whole game, if anybody follows me on social, that's my avatar right now. So that's what I'm speaking to. And that too, like I see people that they don't even know what their avatar is for an agent. They don't know what their avatar is for a client. And my journey through leadership or through social media and through messaging and through the vision has grown to that point where I truly enjoy talking to team leaders, business owners, brokerage owners, mortgage team leaders. I like that part of it because that's the problem that I like solving in this industry right now.
Yeah. What do you think is one scaling mistake you see top producers or top producing teams, I should say, make when they're trying to grow too fast? Because we see it in this industry.
The biggest thing I would say is they throw money at like leads and stuff like that, or they throw money at what they think are problems and then they try to recruit to that. So another thing, when you look at my social, people will always say, you look at other teams, like they're talking about leads, they're talking about Zillow, they're talking about this. I love how low. We have one of the biggest Zillow accounts in the tri-state area, and we operate in 3 different states with it too. So we have Zillow's awesome. Like it's a really, really good tool for real estate agents to convert homes quickly. But I still watch the percentage of what it is in the organization as a whole. And the majority of our trainings, like we have a Zillow specific training, we have a Zillow specific certification, but we lean in on listings, sphere of influence. We lean in on things that truly move the needle for agents. And what's happening now is agents are leaving teams that are reliant on Zillow to join our team in areas that we don't even have Zillow because they want true business development coaching and can build a sustainable business.
Yeah.
So,
that's one of the things that I've been wanting to ask you is, as you scale, there's always lots of opportunities or bright and shiny objects that probably come across your desk, right? So how do you, one, filter out these opportunities, and then how do you limit the distractions so that they don't multiply?
Yeah.
There's always like, Brett, I mean, I can see it with your size of organization. Take a look at this. Take a look. Is there even a filtering system at this level? Or like, how do you know which opportunity or where to pivot being in your seat today?
So I will say that I personally made a lot of wrong decisions over time. I went into a crazy flipping business. We were flipping homes. We were doing this, blah, blah, blah. I just settled a 4-year lawsuit that was just crazy, like just a lot of time-consuming stuff. And that was after the projects were done. So, I had a GC walk off of 6 projects on us in the middle of it, where I still had to grow a real estate team in 2019. I then had to go through COVID. I still was doing all this. Plus, I then became the GC on these projects in the middle of them while I'm paying $38,000 a month in hard money loans in the heart of COVID. That's a distraction. That's like that was like, I don't need to be doing that. It made money, like cool, like things make money when you do flips the right way and all that stuff. But I would say in our industry, that's the biggest piece of noise, is like people want to make money as a realtor and then go flip real estate, wholesale real estate, whatever it may be. And I'm more in the hey, I'd rather invest in a syndication down in Texas at this point. This is my baby, and I run full speed at it. Now, I will say too, we're in mortgage as well. So we're building a whole mortgage division of really awesome loan officers. For me, recruiting a team leader, recruiting a mortgage team leader, talking to somebody about doing more business in mortgages, doing more business as a real estate agent, it's the same path. It just depends. I could have the same exact lunch. It's the same thing. So
The vehicle.
Exactly. So that's really where I live right now. And what we're seeing is that even with our platform and what we're developing right now is that there are folks that we're a team. We operate as a team. We have listing and transaction management. We pay for everything for the agents.
Service.
We run on team splits. There are a lot of brokerages right now that want to roll up, that have more of a brokerage model. They're running it more of a 90-10 split or an 80-20 or something like that. Some of them have capping models. And that wasn't, I know that if there's 200 agents on that brokerage, that 18 might fit what we're set up for. So that is the other side of what we're building on Enterprise right now, where we can add value to those folks, but as a brokerage as opposed to running like a team. And that, again, I'm 100% in my lane. I'm having the same conversations. It's just, am I going that way with the conversation or that way?
Yeah.
My avatar is the same thing, which is super cool.
But how do you decide in your week where your attention goes?
Fortunately,
like ancillary. He's got leaders, right? He's also talking to agents. He's also growing and recruiting.
Yeah. So fortunately, I'm allowed to make those decisions within our organization where I could just be like, I'm not going to go into that meeting, and I don't want to go into that meeting. And I truly think that people should also make that decision within my organization. It's not appropriate for what it is they're looking to do. So even like our luxury committee, which is a new thing, I put in caps, like in parentheses, 100% optional. You don't have to be here. Right? Like even that luxury committee, like we want the best 5 million plus properties, like awesome, realtors landing $15 million deals. Like that's a space that I personally wanted to get lifted off the ground. But now 3 or 4 meetings in, I wasn't on the one yesterday. And Mo,
Yep.
is in there running it with an agenda, with everything, and then
talented.
moving. So that's one of those, like, I don't need to be in there every Wednesday at this point, but I actually have interest in it. And it's also going to help me recruit the better that gets. And it's going to help me recruit better folks too. So, that's a perfect example of like, I'll watch my time in it. I'll see it on my calendar. I'll leave it on my calendar. But it doesn't, it becomes optional. So I would say, like, me personally, I leave a lot of the invites up in my world. And then I'll just put an appointment over it if I need it. For a recruit or something like that. So my highest income producing activity is really living in that, like, let's meet with team leaders, let's meet with broker owners, let's meet with high producing agents or agents already in the organization that need help. I'm always there for that too. So I'll stack that on top of just a regular meeting, but I always do hop in if I'm free.
Yeah, so as you guys scale, I'm a big believer in systems, right? I think systems truly help you scale. What would you say for the agents that are listening right now? Are there like non-negotiables, must-have systems in their business right now if they want to grow or scale?
I think that they need to have a system of some sort. And I'll tell you that my system, I'm kind of old school with stuff. You've already heard me talk about like a spreadsheet in the past. My system, like when I was a really good realtor, I had index cards in my pocket that had all my hot clients on them. I had Post-it notes like color-coded all over the wall. And then I was looking at that wall every single morning and moving people to where they needed to be. So even like Jen jokes with me right now, because I still have to write things down as I'm, like if I'm prospecting for realtors or something, I'm writing down the context. I'm not putting them into the CRM that second, but then I'll go dump them in once a week or something like that when my list gets really long. That's a system. They still end up where they need to be going. It's not the best, or it is the best. I'm not doing it in the best or most efficient way personally, but I'm doing it in a way that works for me and it's making it work. So I think that just having a system, having a process, also understanding like your agents and who's in there and knowing that certain people consume information differently. So certain people look at a system that Omar, for instance, corporate sales background, ran on Salesforce. He looks at Follow Up Boss and he could have his eyes closed and like dance through the whole thing. My brain doesn't fire in that way. So I personally have to slow down a little bit, but I have the gift of gab and can talk to anybody all day long.
Yeah.
So I just tell people, like, don't over systemize things. Like, we have so much of a system and a process around so many different things, but what we've learned over the years is that you can run any play within our world, like within this big box. And there's like 4 or 6 different journeys through it, but don't leave the box, because then we start to miss data and stuff like that too when we're trying to like catch up on things. So I just think, I think that's our...
I'm glad that you said that you still write things on paper. I mean, I had a coaching client, $100 million, and he didn't have a CRM. It was on his notes on his iPhone, but he knew exactly where to find things. All his escrows were on there. And he would give it to his VA, right? So it's find the system that obviously works for you.
Yeah.
So now how do you get adoption when you guys run on systems and an agent isn't putting things in a CRM and there is accountability in your organization?
So again, I use myself as an example in that scenario. Red Bonk's another one she's a killer. She's 30 million a year. Yeah. So I always say, look, would you not take me or Red on your team as a realtor and again, it just adapt, like you just have to adapt to get better around it. But that's what I mean when we're talking about within that box, using myself as an example. Let's say I was prospecting for sellers and I'm on the Mojo triple line dialer and I'm taking notes by hand and stuff like that, or I'm PEC dialing through. That needs to get into the CRM. Like it needs to get there somehow. I don't care when it gets there. You need to move your stages along in the CRM as well, which again, from a system standpoint, we built it for people like me who just don't respond to things. So it just automatically messages through Slack or texts you if like something's missing in a file. And that takes me 2 seconds to be like, all right, cool. Let me throw that in, my bad. So there's checks and balances. There's systems around like how I don't want to use a system. And I don't know. I mean, I think that's it. Like, I think if a brand new agent doesn't want to run with a system and they're having no success whatsoever and they're kind of refusing everything, huge red flag. But if you're taking that $15 million producer that's really, really, really good at what they're doing and they're willing to at least get the data into that, they're willing to try, they're willing to I still fire off my transactions and everything through the system the way that it's built. I'm just saying, I'm still a little old school when it comes to things. And keep in mind, I got licensed in 2007, so Zillow was just getting created. Yeah. Follow Up Boss wasn't a company yet. We were, I don't know how long you've been in it. What was the Top Producer?
1999, and Top Producer was my very first CRM system on floppy disk.
Right. So I had to go get a BlackBerry.
That's how you had to update it. You had to put these floppy disk in.
That's crazy. But that's what I mean. That's like we came through different. I'm old. I'm like an old dog when it comes to this this
fax
business.
Machines, for crying out loud, faxing our offers. Right.
I remember when I first got licensed, I still had a flip phone, and I was like, oh man, I need something with email on it. So I got a BlackBerry Pearl.
Oh my gosh, that is back in the days. So let's fast forward 5 years from now. Where do you see a line? Where do you see Brett? What are you most excited about? What does the company look like? Good people.
So we're doing some cool stuff with like software development right now. We're playing in a different space that's adding a lot more connectivity and oneness. Actually, everything that you and I just chatted about, we're trying to. I don't know if you and I have ever spoken about this. I feel like but I don't know if we've had a direct conversation. But it's like business in a box. It's like how do you plug right into our system as easily and painlessly as possible, but then come right into like a real estate school is available through, a real estate coaching program is available through it. All the data points that we were talking about, that proprietary, that you're plugged in and you're starting to see everything that I see within my organization. Like having access to all the crap that we had to build and putting it together. So onboarding, offboarding, everything is just super clean on that side of things. So that's a game that we're playing right now, which is super fun. And then I just, I know that the sales organization, just to hit $1 billion this year, $2 billion is really like the run in my head. I know you mentioned it earlier. We're trying to take the revenue up over $100 million. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's just like, it's just growth right now. It's just going. And the one thing that I like, I actually have to shoot a reel about this, but it just reminded me. I owe it to Katie. But the one thing that always stood out to me was that people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and they underestimate what they can do in 5. Yeah. So 1 billion we might miss it. We might hit it. Great. I'm really like, let's keep going and going and going and going. And the perfect example of that is in 2020, we were running the EOS system. And our goal was to be #1 in the state of New Jersey at the end of 2025. And I think that the goal that we had set, it might have been 500 million or something in total sales volume. And what's super cool is we ended up hitting it. And by the way, in 2020, the goal felt outrageous. Like it felt like the biggest, like I have no idea how we're going to get there.
Especially during COVID, right?
Yeah. And then we hit, I think we did 192 million and then only like 202 million and then like 208 million 3 years in a row. It was like 2021, 22, 23. So we're sitting in this like, that's never happening. No way, no, like period. And then fast forward, 2024, we're number one team in the state of New Jersey. And then 2025, we did just under 650 million.
Amazing.
So it just shows that like the quicksand of those 3 years, that's where people stop digging for the gold. And I always say I'm too dumb to quit. So we just kept plowing forward. And also I mean everybody's feeling it. It was that 2022 rate hike. It created a lot of Q3, Q4 issues in 22 for us. 23 sucked. Q1, Q2 of 24 sucked. You know, it was just, but you just keep moving.
Well,
forward.
I love your relentless drive and definitely your tenacity to just like keep going. So what's the real mission behind the numbers?
Yeah. It's funny like even when you ask me about the numbers are less important to me than the experience the people around me are having. So we really want 300 six-figure earners, and we want 31 million net earners within our world. And that's like really what I personally focus on, which isn't as sexy as the other stuff. But that's the meaning behind the numbers. I want to change lives. I want people to build wealth in our world. I want people to be happier. I want people to be joyful. I want people to like, you know, truly have a great experience in the world of real estate, because it's given me so much. As a kid, I didn't go to college. I was a 1.8 GPA from high school. Like I really could be like a realtor, period. That's like all I had available to me.
Yeah.
So, or an entrepreneur. So I just want people to like go back to like.
If you were gonna say you got your Lamborghini, that was like the poster that was on the wall, and that's what was driving it all. I'm kidding.
It's literally, it's funny. I still wear like my Apple Watch and stuff. I look at Rolexes even on like Safari, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get one of those, you know. But there's so many things that have been up on my.
Bet on that last year.
What's that?
Recruiting bet. You were like, I think you guys did a recruiting bet, you and Jen.
We did. I think we hit the goal, and I still didn't buy the Rolex. So like I put it on vision boards and stuff like that, but I never actually do it. What I was going to say though, back to the yellow Lamborghini, is when agents go and make a decision to go get their real estate license, they have a dream. Like they have a vision of like what's important to them. They swipe their credit card for $400, whatever the course costs, and they want out of whatever the hell is going on, and they want more money, they want more freedom, they want more everything. My goal, my journey is to make that happen for everybody that swiped those credit cards, that actually want it. And anybody like myself who lost that vision from 2000, and probably for me it was 2000, like I was probably a sophomore in high school, where like I was like, this life starts to like get a little hard, you know? So it was probably from 2002 until 2016 or so. We want to close that gap, and we want to get you pointed in the right direction, and we want to make sure you have a plan. We want to make sure that, you know, if you're married, your spouse is loving life with you. If you have children, you're giving them everything they could have ever imagined. And if you want to buy real estate, like, that's the best. I freaking love people who buy real estate. Like every time one of my realtors buys a piece of real estate, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. All right, cool. But yeah, that's it. That's my purpose. That's where I live. And everything else happens to flow behind that.
Well, you've dropped a lot of gems on our episode today. Where can people connect with you if they want to find out more information, if they want to know about your organization, if they even want to just pick your brain and either partner with you, because it sounds like you guys are building some really cool things.
Yeah, we do. I just tell people, find me on Instagram. It's Brett.Sikora. Find me on Facebook. I'm sure we have a bunch of mutual friends if you're looking for me in that real estate realtor world. But shoot me a DM. I'm very accessible.
So cool. And we'll drop it in the show notes. And as we wrap up, there's always one question that I ask every guest on this show is, what do you do to play bigger, either in business or in life, Brett?
What do I do to play bigger in business or life?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think that, I just really think it's like every single day waking up with just being like a little bit more, a little bit better, like what I mentioned earlier. Being a good person, not being a shithead. I think that goes a really long way. And I think just thinking big, I think that, like, again, using that $20 million team, adding value to a $100 million team. It's like, if you go reverse engineer that, it's like Alex Hormozy. It's $1 million offers. It's, why would you, I say it's a realtors all the time too. Why would you sell a $100,000 house when you can sell $1 million house? Like, it's the same, if not less work. So think big and have the right folks around you, and don't be afraid to call them and collaborate with them. You'd be amazed, like, not you, but somebody listening, how many folks will truly just pick up the phone and talk to you. And I think that's something I didn't touch on in this, but has always been a secret weapon, is I just reach out to, like, anybody and ask them questions. Like, I just met with an investment banker. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. Can you talk to me about this? And he gave me an hour of his time for free, just to help me make decisions of, like, where this organization's going. So,
well, now that you said that, and I have one last question, is because you talk to so many people about so many different things, right, about opportunity, is where do you see, or what do you consider talented today? Like, what do you look for when it comes to talent?
What do I look for in talent for leadership or real estate
Like, if they
agents?
were to come into your world today, whether they were a producer, whether they were an investment banker, whether it's you doing a business deal, somebody of this caliber is like, you know, what do you look for when it comes to talent?
I mean, I think that I'm big on energy. Like, I'm big on the vibe that I get from somebody. I can tell you that I was on a Zoom with somebody very powerful 3 days ago to see if there's anything to be happening there. And within 2 minutes, I could just feel that I just can't work with this person. So I think that I lead with
Intuition.
Yeah, I lead with, like, I go with the gut a lot of times on it. And you know, even us, like, reconnecting and stuff like that. I had a very good experience with you back in 2016, 17. And just the folks that, Jen, as our COO, I called her up and I said, hey, she was coaching me at the time. And I said, hey, I don't need you as a coach. I need you to come, like, do it with me, you know? And then we need to go do it for other people. Like, we need to go integrate it. So it's just folks that, like, just feel like aligned with the synergistic, like, everything just kind of feels like it's right. And then from there, that's what creates the conversations. And if we're going to be going from a leadership standpoint, we'll start figuring out, does this empower you? Like, what the problem, the gap that I have in my organization that I'm talking to you about right now, do you want to do that? Like, do you actually want to go fill that gap? And do you want to report back on the data of what's required for that? Or if not, maybe we'll place you somewhere else. There's a lot of folks in my world that I really know, and want to be in business with, but the business isn't where it needs to be to have a seat for that person yet.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool. What a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you so much for your time today, Brett. I've always enjoyed the journey. I mean, I got to tell everybody that when I first met him, he actually was one of the very few that I interviewed that had an org chart. Like, it was, like, dialed in. And I was like, and I remember telling Seth, I was like, this guy actually has an org chart out of all the hundreds of interviews that I've done throughout the country. And it's, like, actually dialed in. So I appreciate you. I love seeing what you guys are building. I want to keep supporting you guys, of course, and always playing bigger.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us.